Hello guys and welcome back. So fortunately, starting off this week, it was supposed to be race 2 of Kota, our championship. However, fate had other ideas and it didn't go our way. It was unavailable for the first race. For the second race, I was getting some stuttering at the start. With about 15 minutes to go, my PC crashed, so fortunately I don't have any footage for that. I did score some points, which I'll flash up on screen quickly so you can see how the standings are. Was in P3. This screenshot was taken after having a go at round 3. Was in P3, but yeah, you can see us scoring 82 points there. So hopefully getting a better race at Monza, which is for race 3. In replacement for this, I have got a race at Bahrain in the Ferrari, starting P4, and I do think this race is a great replacement. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and let's get into it. As always guys, if you do enjoy the content and you want to see how we recover in this championship, please do consider hitting that subscribe button down below so you can be notified when future videos get posted. Getting a pretty decent start then. You can see going 4 wide into the first corner, however we do put on the brakes a lot later than everyone else and flying through into first place there. Getting a nice clean drive through that second corner, not getting too much oversteer, and you can see the gap there already opening up to 0.9 seconds, just up to 1 second now. So we've got an absolutely fantastic start to this race. Seems to be fueled about the same as everyone else, at least the top 4. So hopefully we should all sort of be on similar pace. Getting purple in the first sector there. So definitely putting down some quick sectors at the moment. Running probably a little bit deeper into that first corner than I'd like, but we are still on coldish tyres in a heavyish car. Got about 11 laps of fuel in the car at the moment. This corner probably being the trickiest on the circuit. Just missing the apex there. However, gap behind opening up to 1.5 seconds. So they're definitely battling behind. Looks like P2 and P3 are very close. Bit of a gap back to P4 though. Cutting the curb nicely here, however probably could have had a little bit more speed through the sector. Gap holding steady at this point around 1.4 seconds. So we just need to keep consistent. Not let the pressure of being in first place get to us. Hopefully we can edge out a little bit more of a gap, just from the fact that the guys behind are going to be battling. So going purple in sector 2 there as well. Coming into the final corner, getting a very nice line through there, on the power, and coming up to the finish line. Purple in sector 3, getting a quick slap of the race. However, still a lot of time to gain, only a 2:10.3. Those laps will definitely increase as we go through. As you can see, already 6.5 seconds up on our first lap. 2 seconds now to the gap behind, over 2 seconds, which is absolutely fantastic. Definitely out the slipstream and relieves the pressure from us a little bit. On the brakes, right at the braking zone there. Getting a nice line through the apex and up to 2.7 seconds behind, so go faster in the first sector again, as you can see there, 6.5 seconds up. So on for about 2:04 at the moment, with going deep into that corner, losing a little bit of time there. Let's see if we can nail this corner again. So on the brakes, not too hard, as I don't want to spin the car out. Hitting the apex a little bit better there. On the pad nice and early. However, you can see P2 closing down on us. Now things have settled out and he's got through. He is going to be one to keep an eye out on this race. Just keep an eye on that gap. He does have quite a lot of pace. We have still set the fastest sector in first 1 again. However, getting an orange in sector 2. Just not getting the best sector there. P2 definitely closing down on us, down to 1.6 seconds. Down to 1.5 seconds now, so you can see that P2 does have some decent pace. Losing a little bit of time through that final corner, about 10th there. Opening up on P2 a little bit though. Coming through to set the quickest lap of the race again, however, you can see there, P2 did take it, however it's now owned by P5, Pellegrini. I do recognise that name actually, I feel like I have seen Pellegrini in some of the races I've done before. However, going quicker again, 2/10 in the first 2 corners already. So we could be on to set another quickest lap of the race ourselves here. Whether we'll hold that title to the end, who knows? We'll have to watch and find out. Using that little cone on the left hand side there as a braking marker.
Alright Luke, 15 minutes left, that's 15 minutes. Sector 2 is now yellow.
So we haven't taken the first sector, quickest sector this lap, however we are 6/10 up. Can we maintain that coming into here? As I say, this is a very tricky corner. We're taking a double stab at the apex there, turning in a little bit too early the first time.
Incident in Sector 2, Sector 2 is yellow. Green flag, Sector 2.
I don't know if you've noticed yet, but if you look at P2 behind, coming up to 0.8 seconds, and that Aston Martin there, running a little bit wide, getting distracted by the guy behind, which does allow him to close right up on the back of us there. Now, how long can we hold P1?
Your brakes are hot.
We'll have to pull out a little bit of defensive driving, just running a little bit wide there, probably showing Screamer that I am definitely pushing. Probably going a little bit slow into that final corner there, which does allow the guy in P2 to close right up on the back of us. So it's definitely in the slipstream.
The guy behind has just done
Don't really feel like there's too much I can do here. He's definitely quicker than us, so I thought rather than fighting, I'd let him through. Maybe see if I can hang on to the back of him. So I've been a little bit cautious here as I didn't want to go into the back of him. Trying to hang on the back of him here. Stay in the slipstream, see if we can pull us along. Work together, build up a bit of a gap to P3. So let's keep an eye on the gap to P3, 3.8 at the moment. Maybe getting a little bit of the dirty air.
P2.
You can see there is already pulling away from us, so he definitely does have more pace on us. Just a case of maximising this. Not hitting the apex too great there. I think I carried a little bit too much speed and actually had to push the brakes coming into the corner, which drove me wide a little bit. Now this guy's already over a second in front, so dropping out of the slipstream there, P2 has gained on us a little bit, so he maybe does have some pace on us as well, driving that Porsche. So we are just going to need to keep an eye on the guy behind as well. We've got about 10 minutes left. Sorry, 12 minutes. Can we hold off that 4 second gap now for those 12 minutes? Coming up on the radio there, someone's spinning off. Not sure who that is. Doesn't look like it's anyone down to around P8. So sort of holding on to the back of P1 here. He is sort of opening in some areas, we're gaining in others. It looks like we got a little bit of oversteer on that final corner there. Did appear the Aston Martin had a bit of a higher top speed than the Ferrari from the long straights. I don't know if he was just getting better exits, but he did always seem to pull away on the straights a little bit. Nice line through there, not getting any oversteer at all. Focusing on hitting our braking markers, not watching the guy in front. Sometimes that can be quite easy to do, however,
Attention to track limits, please, Luke.
getting a penalty there for track limits.
Tyres are cold, watch out.
Cutting that corner a little bit too much. Car in front spitting up a little bit of dirt as he cuts over that curb. Now he's definitely getting a better line through that corner, which is giving him the drive out of the exit. There's probably one corner I need to work on a little bit, and definitely this one here. Car can get very unstable under braking sometimes. You can see there he's gaining a decent amount. Getting a better exit over us out of that corner.
Yellow flag.
If you are enjoying this race, guys, please do consider hitting that subscribe button down below and then hitting that bell icon to get notified when we post future videos. I've had quite a lot of subscribers recently. Do really appreciate the support. Trying to work towards a goal of 45 subscribers by the start of August. If you guys can help me achieve that, that'd be absolutely amazing.
There's 10 minutes left, half distance. Loving this, mate, this is perfect.
Half distance on the race then, so definitely got enough fuel to be finishing this off. P1 getting a very nice exit out of that corner there, probably making up a little bit of time down this final straight. Not sure if it was the exit or just
Fuel's good.
the top speed. As you can see there, fuel is good for the rest of this lap, so no pit stops. Got the fuel in just perfect.
Green flag, sector 2.
Not sure what happened in sector 2 there, not going to affect our race though.
Your front tyres are cold.
Now 6 laps into this race with not a super heavy fuel load, but with a fuel load, I'm not sure how the tyres are still cold. However, it probably does explain some of the understeer, maybe they're not
Incidents in sector 2, yellow flag. Gap
up
2,
to
P1. Ahead is increasing. It's now 2.1 seconds.
the optimum temperature. Sorry,
Sector
getting
2 is
interrupted
clear.
there. And again. But yeah, hopefully as we get a little bit further in they warm up a little bit more.
The stewards have warned us for cutting the track. Keep it between the white lines.
Maybe the brake temperatures can bleed into the tyres a little bit as well. Right, running a little bit wide into that corner there, front washing out wide. They're carrying a little bit too much speed.
Half your fuel.
Trying to get a nice wide entry into that corner. Try and carry as much speed through here as I can. Does work out. Gaining a little bit of time on the brakes as well, however not getting the best exit. Running wide on the exit as well. Doesn't count as a track limits though, so probably not gaining really any time. On the brakes at about the 100 board. Cutting that curb perfectly. On the power nice and early. However, probably did lose a little bit of time in that corner. Coming across the line then, we do set a new personal best lap.
Sector 2 is yellow.
Still about a second off the guy in front though, so definitely
Sector
putting in
2
some
is
quick
now
laps up
green.
front.
We can see East has gone off.
A little bit slow coming into this corner then. We do cut it quite a lot, not getting a track limits violation. Yellow purple sector. Gaining a little bit of time through there. Oh, gaining quite a lot of time actually, up 2/10. Getting a very nice line. However, unravelling it all by running a little bit deep into that corner.
Gap 2, P1 ahead is increasing. It's now 3.3.
Still getting a little bit of a better drive. How can we get on with this corner? Making a little bit of time there, so definitely getting the braking zone a lot better. Hitting the apex nice and tidy and gaining a little bit of time. So there is still plenty of time to be made around this lap. It's just trying to put it all together and hit one perfect lap. See how we get on with our sector 3 2 time when we come through to that.
It's now
Gaining quite a lot of time through there, now by nearly 5 tenths. So on for a quite promising lap by the looks of it. Definitely need to get these sort of times in to keep P2 behind. Running a little bit wide again, but not getting an invalidated lap, which is amazing. Even peggings up in P1 and P2 then. Sorry, P3. Even gap between the two of them.
The leader's just done a 2:02.35. Francisco is getting closer.
Coming through to set our quickest lap of the race then.
2 seconds. The guy behind has just done a 2:02.74.
So quicker than guy behind, quicker than us. So closing on that gap. Guy up in front even quicker with about a second ahead. Definitely putting in some blistering lap times now. We are staying pretty consistent. We're not really losing too much time through the laps or gaining too much time.
5 minutes to go. Come on, keep it together. We'll be on the podium here.
Coming through to the hardest section of the track again. Nice and early on the brakes there. Carrying a lot of momentum through these corners. Still slightly down on our quickest lap, but it should still be on for a good one. Making a lot of time up through that corner there, however just losing it all again on the exit. Not ideal. Can we gain any time coming into this corner here? Staying about the same. Right, let's see if we can get this section right then without running wides. Not getting much understeer then. You can hear not getting much screech from the tyres, so we do gain a little bit of time. Trying to take a nice wide line through this corner here. As you can see there, not running that wide again, gaining time on the exit. Can we keep the momentum up down this final straight? So probably not quite carrying as much momentum through there as previous laps, however we are still up on our time. About the 100 board, slamming on the anchors. Gaining a nice little bit of time through the exit there. So coming through to start lap 9, we are going to set our quickest lap of the race again. Still about a second off from the guy in front.
Front tyres are cold. The gap to Francisco behind is increasing. It's now 3.6.
Gap slightly opening up behind them, so relieving the pressure on us a little bit. Especially with only 2 minutes left to go of the race. Up in front we've got about 5 seconds, so I don't really think there's going to be much chance of us challenging first place. However, P2 is a pretty good result, so let's see if we can just maintain this position, keep consistent. Don't want to fall over within the last 2 minutes.
Okay, Luke, one more to go. Keep it together, we'll be on the podium. The lap time was at 2:03.79.
So down by about 6 tenths on that lap from our quickest. Running very deep into that corner there, which is going to allow P3 to close up.
Warned about track limits.
However, we're on the final lap here, so just got one more lap to go. As long as we can keep consistent and not mess up the next couple of corners, we should be in for P2. Again there, getting a track limits violation, pushing the limits to the edge. On the brakes, last time coming through this complex twisty section. Braking in between those two boards there, probably could have braked a little bit earlier. A little bit too slow through here. So that gap coming down to 2.3 seconds now. Can we nail this one final time then? Slowing ourselves down initially and then rolling a little bit, not the quickest. But at least we didn't spin out, that's the main thing. Just trying to secure this
Sector 3 is yellow.
P2 finish. Someone's off in Sector 3, might be someone up ahead, back marker.
Green flag, Sector 3.
It's that P14 there, going down the back straight. Still maintaining the gap behind them, from Pellegrini, however, does look like a late charge. Do think it's a little bit too little too late. Coming into the final corner then, getting our braking area nice. Powering out the final corner. CP1 there, crossing the line. Flicking over to the inside to celebrate. We do have a little bit of a weave for our P2 finish.
That's a podium. Okay,
so I do hope you guys enjoyed that race. Apologies, it wasn't the championship one you was probably hoping for. Hopefully we do have a little bit better luck next week with our race in Monza. 2 rounds. But yeah, we'll flick over to the results, see how we got on. So finishing in P2, as you can see, a quick lap of 2:03.1. And let's flick over to see the safety rating. Gaining 2 positions in that race then, after we qualified in P4. As you can see there, we do have an increase on our driver rating, going up to about midway bronze 3. And then we do have an increase on the safety rating as well. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy that. Again, if you do enjoy the content, please do consider hitting that subscribe button down below. And I'll see you in the next video.